All right, y'all. You know what it is. You know who it is. Back with another video. This one actually is pretty important for me to talk about. I feel like it's good to get this individual's face out specifically. And sorry, y'all. I'm actually looking at real estate. I mean, you already know what it is, but it's actually important, in my opinion, to get this individual's face out. And again, learning lessons, learning lesson. Okay. So some of y'all may or may not know, there was a gentleman by the name of, let me see if I can find it real quick. I should have had it, but man, what's this dude's name? Oh, Justin Humphrey. This is this gentleman's name. I shouldn't say gentleman, be honest with you, but this is this dude's name. Okay. He was found accused for graping, I should say, forcing himself on some high school girls. Okay. I don't know if this guy was in high school as well or he was out of high school, but he basically, long story short, he forced himself on two, not just one, two girls, and basically he got off. Okay. He was originally facing 80 years in prison. So we're going to watch this video, talk about it, send you guys on your way. Okay.
And more and way bigger charges that the state likely could have thrown at this kid, like attempted murder. The two alleged victims and their families had every reason to believe that the wheels of justice were hard at work on this case, both for them and for the accused, Jesse Mack Butler. And before I tell you what ended up happening, let me tell you why he faced those specific charges, what he actually did to those two girls. You should know that these details are extremely graphic. They are despicable, but they are critical to this story, especially when you find out how the judge came down in this case. So fair warning, trigger warning. What I'm about to list out for you is very uncomfortable to say and to hear. A police affidavit says a girl who's identified only as LS because she's a minor dated Jesse Butler for about 3 months.
Okay, this is a couple series, but long getting into it. So she's a minor. Like I said, I don't know if this individual, I gotta look this up, but I don't know if he was in high school. It sounds like he wasn't. But from his picture, he looks pretty young. So he might have just got out.
Of last year. She was 16 at the time. And during that time, the victim said Butler repeatedly raped and attempted to rape her and would strangle her if she refused. The teenage girl needed surgery to repair the damage done to her neck by the strangulation. And her doctor told her that she would have died had that strangulation lasted another 30 seconds. The girl said that she gave in to Jesse Mack Butler because he threatened to kill her and he threatened to kill her family if she didn't give in. A separate affidavit says in March of last year, Butler took up with another 16-year-old girl identified only as KS. And that relationship lasted 6 months, but this teenager also said that Butler was aggressive and violent with her and says she went along with all the unwanted sex to avoid being hurt further. This victim also said that one time when she did refuse, Butler strangled her too. But get this, he recorded himself strangling her until she passed out. And lest you think this might be just a he said, she said, police later found that video on Jesse Mack Butler's phone. So that's what we call evidence. Jesse Butler pleaded not guilty to everything, as was his right off the bat. But in the coming months, for reasons that I will not pretend tonight to understand, the DA's office struck a deal with Butler's lawyers to change his status from adult to youthful offender. The victims' families begged the DA, please do not do that. Please, no. But in July, a judge decided to sign off on this. And in August, Jesse Mack Butler changed his plea from not guilty to no contest.
That's crazy. So I'm before there's a couple more slides, but before we get into it, like, it's interesting to me that I'm questioning why would, like, somebody had to know somebody in this whole situation, because for them to want to change that from adult charge to what they call a youthful minor, to me is crazy. The fact that especially he did it with more than one a victim, you know what I'm trying to say, and then to me the actions behind that is violent, right? So the whole point of the law is to protect obviously the public too, right? So to let this gentleman out, I keep saying gentleman, but he's not a gentleman by far, to let this dude out with that type of violence within him, that type of capability, to me is a jeopardy of the public. But we're gonna finish this, and I'm gonna give my opinion. Like I said, this one I try to be objective. This one's gonna be quite difficult to be objective to. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Meaning he knew there was ample evidence to convict him. And you should know that a conviction is the result of a no contest plea, right? That's what you get, convicted. By the way, I mentioned there were 10 counts before, but by August, there was one more. So the grand tally now stood at 11. The new count was for violating a protective order, which, oh my God, facing 10 felony counts and violating a protective order should have been a hell of a red flag for anybody, somebody. But the very same day that happened, Butler was sentenced to 78 years in prison, which sounds like a fitting punishment for somebody who nearly kills 2 teenage girls and rapes them repeatedly with all sorts of things. But as a youthful offender, Jesse Mack Butler was also entitled to special treatment, like a rehabilitation plan.
I don't agree with that at all. It's a tough, the objective side of me is tough because, you have some young people who do dumb things and then they learn from it and they go on to do better things with their life, even help the youth, right? Like, top of my head, like Charleston White, for example. Some of you may or may not know him or agree with what he's saying, but I mean, he obviously did some dumb things when he was younger, dumb shit. And then he was able to, from that, have reach out or youth programs, etc., to teaching the young kids. So it's kind of hard when you have somebody that's, I don't know how old this gentleman, this guy is. I don't know how old he is, right? But, just taking this whole situation out of the picture for a second, somebody that's young, in this case, with this type of crime, I'm biased. I don't think you should be getting any type of slap on the wrist, none of that. Okay, it should be throw the kitchen book at him, the kitchen sink at him, the cabinet, whatever the analogy is. Throw that all at him, the whole book, the whole law, and it is what it is. To be honest with you, I think this is one of the most grotesque and frankly despicable things that you could do to an individual is forcing yourself on somebody. And the fact that he almost killed these two is not just one, it's two. But I'll give my opinion at the end. I'm going to finish up. We got one more clip, and then we'll finish up here.
Which was drawn up by the Oklahoma Office of Juvenile Affairs, and that plan was presented to the court last week. This new punishment called for daily check-ins, weekly counseling, a curfew, no social media, and 150 hours of community service. Bam. They really brought down the hammer, huh? 150! Oh, that's like 3 weeks if you work really hard. This new plan is scheduled to stay in effect until Jesse Mack Butler turns 19. And that, my friends, is less than a year from now. So, wow, long punishment.
Okay. So found out how old he is. That was my thing. I didn't know how old he was, but okay. So here's my honest opinion. Objectively speaking, I mean, I guess the law is the law. In this case, this is one of the parts where I say the law failed. I don't know. Okay, this is in Oklahoma. So number one, I don't know what the laws is in Oklahoma when it comes down to youth and their crimes and penalties. And I guess, it's a gray area because this to me is a very violent crime. Here's what I think is going to happen. I could be wrong, but here's what I think is going to happen. This is getting quite a lot of publicity. It's getting quite a lot of eyeballs on it. I don't see that this 150 hours of community service, whatever, I don't see that going through. I think they're going to bring that back and say, look, like people are going to be upset, et cetera. Because again, it's public opinion, court of public opinion, right? And they're going to have to slap this man with something a little harder. Number one. Number two, in the event that this does go through, I don't wish bad on anybody. I don't wish harm on anybody, but I don't see this individual making it to an old age. I'm just going to keep it honest with you. You got to think it's not just one, it's two young girls underage, minors, been attacked, been assaulted multiple times. This is all key. So this is a trending, this individual reminds me of one of those potential serial killers, rapists, etc. Right? This is like the type of behavior that comes about before, how many victims are you going to have before you said, oh, we messed up type deal. So I don't predict that this individual is going to make it to see old age. I'll be honest with you, whether that is, a concerned citizen, let's say, if you will, taking matters into their own hands. Now, again, I don't promote violence, but this is one of the things like it's very hard to, like for me as a father, yeah, that ain't riding out. I'll be honest with you, because that's this right here, and this is the thing that I have the biggest problem with. Not so much. I mean, yes, of course, what happened, but this is the biggest thing I have a problem with. Other people that's capable of this. So other men and women, right? We're not going to just say men, right? But somebody else that's capable of this is going to see this and say, well, he got 150. I could do that too. See what I mean? These type of individuals with this type of action, these are one of the times you make an example out of somebody. And the rest fall in line. Point blank, period. The fact that you're willing to give this person 150 hours of whatever community service and no social media and all this, you're setting yourself, Oklahoma, if you listening, you're setting yourself up for problems. Straight up. Point blank, period. And this is why things that happen, that's why I personally decided to talk about this and present this out, because I think this individual here should be known, and I think this individual should be shunned, shamed. And of course, they need to, whoever the judge is that signed off on that. I don't know what deal they decided to strike. This person probably knew somebody. I knew somebody. I'll be 100% honest with you, because none of this makes sense. This individual, whatever his name is, what's his name? Justin. Oh, no. Justin Humphrey. Sorry, I misspoke earlier. I said Justin Humphrey. Justin Humphrey is a state representative. Okay. The guy who actually committed these atrocities, his name is Jesse Mack Butler. Okay. So Jesse Mack Butler, I'm assuming, this is just me objectively looking at it, he knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody. And this is why this type of deal happened, because I cannot fathom and make sense of it, of why you would say with these crimes that was committed in the way it was committed on multiple people, And then the fact that he disobeyed a direct order to stay away from these people, this is all green lighting to say you clearly have a mental, psychological, you are a danger to the community, you are a danger to yourself. And you're gonna determine that this danger, this individual, the crime is fitting to be 150 hours of community service. So, like I said, my opinion, if it was me in that situation, God forbid, I'm sorry, but whatever his face, he ain't making it, bro. It is what it is. I'm gonna just call it a day. God forgive me, but this is rough. This is a rough one. But we talk about everything on here, so I don't just talk about you know the fluff and all that stuff. I talk about the hard stuff too. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. Learning lessons from this. Talk to your kids. Make sure they're comfortable to tell you anything. Make sure they feel comfortable to say anything. It's unfortunate that these girls, I should say, went through this and they felt like they couldn't say anything. I don't know really how he ended up getting caught. I don't know if they eventually said something, but talk to your kids. Make sure they feel comfortable to talk to you. Make sure they feel comfortable to say what's going on. And this is the type of thing. Everybody failed these girls. Okay, everybody failed these girls. 100%, 110%, and everybody failed this individual that committed these crimes because he should not be out. Period. But before I get too on my soapbox, I'll see y'all on the next one, man. Y'all take care. Stay safe. Peace.